We're back. As you can see, we're back. We're not quite sure what happened then. I really don't know. The blindfold was put on and the screen went totally black, so I've had to reset everything. So apologies for that. I'm hoping that I'm back up and broadcasting again. If you are watching, just give me a thumbs up if you don't mind, just to let me know that we are live. And well, I've got one watching, so that must mean we are broadcasting. We have got Dirk in the lobby, so we are waiting for Smith. So I'm not sure what happened there, so many apologies for that. Hi Faisy, yeah, you're back again. I really don't know what happened, and I really do apologise to everybody that was watching. I blame Osman. He obviously done something. So we are waiting for Smith, I believe. We've got Dirk in the briefing room. We're just waiting for Smith, and we are back at Al Sarche village, I think. So if that's the case, then these guys will be in the Dodge Viper again, which is a very awkward car to try and get around this track quickly. Now Dirk and Smith are both very quick guys. I think this is going to be a really evenly matched race. Probably, well, on paper it's going to be the race of the evening. We shall see. We shall see. We've just witnessed Bailey taking 2 wins out of 2 on the night, and I'm pretty sure if I'm right in saying that that's now 2 out of 3 for Bailey. But Bailey was up against Ruthless Rufus, and Rufus, well, he didn't bring any shame on himself. He actually had a fantastic race, and as he said earlier, he's quite rightly so chuffed with himself. And it just shows how much better he is getting. So we're getting into the sharp end of this 1v1 tournament now, and all the racing is it's going to be pretty good stuff. So we are just waiting to get Smith back in. Again, he may be mobbed by fans. We don't know. I don't know if this is the actual track we're racing on. Back at in France at the fictional track of Al Sarche village. We used to call it Alsace village, but we've gone all posh today, and it's Al Sarche. Plus, I think that sounds a bit better, doesn't it? Al Sarche. So I've just had a message just to say they're going to be a few minutes. So this track, as I said, it's fictional. 3.3 miles, 17 corners on this track. So it's not the longest of tracks, but there's a lot of turns on it. There are a lot of tricky turns as well. They're not all just sweeping casual bends. There's quite a few pointy bits on it, as you can see. The little red dot flying around the track, that's turn 3, and then you've got a sweeping left-hander through turn 4 down towards turn 5, which is quite a sharp right-hander, through turn 6, turn 7 another sweeper, turn 8 is the banked section of the track, and then turn 11 is the notoriously difficult corner to get around, and then through turn 16, 17 is it's like a chicane section. So yeah, a very tricky track. Now I keep clicking on the spectator bit, but there's nobody on track at the minute. Practice is not allowed. Yes, Vodka Rob, yeah, family again. Sorry about that. We don't know what happened. Sort of a technical gremlin, and we ended up having to reset everything, so I do apologise. For those that have just joined, I think you have got a minute if you do want to nip off and use the powder room if you want to go and grab yourself a bag of crisps or a bucket of popcorn. I think you're okay for a minute or two. We are just waiting for Smith. He's having a chat with his solicitor about something. Probably some sort of contract thing they're signing, ready for the race. I don't know, but we're just waiting for Smith to come in. Derg is he's in. So the race is between Smith and Derg, both from the League of Champions. So this should be an absolute cracker. Yes, Vodka Ross, yes, saying sure it wasn't you. No, it definitely wasn't you. It was something our end, and we had to reset everything. I'm blaming Oz completely. He pressed the wrong button, I'm sure. Whatever it was, it's sorted, and we're back up and running. And if you're looking at the screen, you can see we've got the blimp there, right in the centre at the top. Don't often see them, do you, anymore, the blimps? Now, who was it who told me that I got told during the week that somebody had used all the helium up? Is it helium? Is that right? Helium is what you put in blimps? I know the Goodyear one was the famous one, wasn't it? It may have been them. I don't know. I think it was Nigel that told me. He may have been winding me up. But yes, we've got the blimp there over France. A fantastic view of the track. You can see just how twisty this track is. And we are waiting for Greg Smith to come in. This must be one hell of a contract that he's signing. So he's obviously having a few technical issues as well. Maybe he's had to reboot everything. But we will get this race underway as soon as Mr. Smith joins us. Mr. Smith, it's Matrix, isn't it? As soon as he gets into the lobby, we'll get this race up and running. But yes, great view of the track. You can see just how twisty and turny it is. There's a few guys out there camping. They've been here for the weekend. Seen some great racing so far. Getting a bit of shade there under the tree. Must be warm, not like the weather we've had over here. Fantastic looking venue, isn't it? If only it was real. There's the nutcase in the helicopter, getting his aerial shots in. Bit of a crowd on the left. They're all wondering what's happening as well. What's that? The Chateau de Baron? Is that a real place? Now then, Derg is in his car. Derg is in his car. Is he going to go on track? Let's have a look. He is. Derg is in his car. So, maybe he's getting it warmed up or cooled down. I'm not sure. He's jumped in it, put the aircon on, get it cooled down. It does look a bit warm out there, doesn't it? So, yeah, we're just waiting for Greg Smith to join and get in his car. I would like to have a look round Derg's at the minute, but I can't do that until we actually go out on track. It all adds to the tension, doesn't it? The build-up. This is the big one, the final race of the evening. We have Derview 86, otherwise known as Derg, against Greg Smith, both from the League of Champions, both A drivers, I think. Oh, and there we go, we can actually see what's going on now, and Derg is in a Dunkin' Donuts livery. Fantastic looking car. And Smith is there, already crashed, testing the barrier out. So let's get a look at this livery on Derg's car. The Dunkin' Donuts Dodge Viper, fantastic, absolute fantastic looking car. And TLR Smith, well, looking all black and mean. A bit of Night Rider going on there. I think all he needs is the red bar across the front, and we've got Night Rider, haven't we? Already a big dent in the front. Hopefully the mechanics will sort that one out before the race. So the big one for the end of the night now. Smith, he's looks like he's pushing the limits of that Viper. A very tricky track and a very tricky car. Really looking forward to this race. Derg and Smith, both League of Champions. Let's just have a look at the mileage on these cars. So Derg has done 17 miles, and Smith has done 3 miles. So everybody pretty much electing to go out and buy a brand new car. Not many people are using existing cars from the garage. They've all gone out and bought new cars for these races. Maybe they never had them. Maybe this is Smith's first trip in a Viper. I doubt it very much, but it could be. It could be. So that's the out lap then. Derg has started his fast lap. He's got the hazards going. I keep saying it's going to slow you down if you've got the hazards going. Smith on his fast lap. As they go around turn 3, Derg just approaching turn 4. In fact, what we'll do, we'll jump on board with Derg so you can see the corners as the guys look at them. So down through turn 5 goes Derg, nicking as much track as possible. Through turn 6, more kink in the road, into this sweeping left-hander, which is turn 7. And then into the big right-hander, this sort of banked, almost hairpin of turn 8. Immediately into turn 9, and then as we approach turn 10, as you come onto the exit of turn 10, you want to get on the brakes about now to get yourself around turn 11, and that's exactly what Derg didn't do. And now that could cost him. That mistake there from Derg could cost him a grid position, and getting yourself in front on this track is key. So Derg got that one wrong, and it's going to be interesting as we see Smith going up the hill, over the crest, and then down the other side to through the final set of turns. Hazard still going for Derg. And let's see what his time is. He's done a 1:59. So 1:59.0 for Derg, and Smith a 1:58.1. So it looks like Smith will have pole position for this final race around Alsace village in France. And yeah, grid position is key. Now obviously you're going to need a good start to get you into turn 1 on the way up the hill. I think Smith is looking for the pit entry so that he can get some repairs done to his car. Derg, I think Derg will be disappointed with that fast lap, especially that mistake at turn 11. It has caught so many people out. Hopefully, oh dear, we've got the black screen again. Whoa, we are back, thank you goodness for that. So Smith on pole position, Derg just behind him for the final race of the evening at Alsace village in France. 3.3 miles and 17 turns of French tarmac ahead of them, and what a fantastic start from Smith as they head into turn 1. Derg is still with him though, and just slots in behind as they start up the hill. towards turn 2. And already Dirk putting the pressure on. As they come around to turn 3, this is going to be a close race. I can feel it. One slight mistake from either of these guys, and I think that'll be race over. As Smith leads us around turn 4, Dirk just sitting in behind, staying within the slipstream. Although there's no real great long straights on this track, you have to take the opportunity when it's presented to you. Now Dirk, he's just going to sit there, I think, for a bit, maybe do a lap or two to see if Smith makes a mistake, but he has to stay in touch. Smith a second ahead at the minute, but Dirk coming back at him. He really does need to get that time down. He's got to get within a second, and I think Dirk is already pushing, and pushing causes mistakes as they head into turn 11. Now this is where Dirk came unstuck in his fast lap. Smith gets himself around there, and Dirk, well, he's got it right this time, hasn't he? As they go through turn 12 and start up the hill, Smith leading this race on lap 1. Down the other side, the gap already up to 2 seconds. Through the final few turns, Smith out in front. Dirk playing catch up in the Dunkin' Donuts Dodge Viper. So across the line to start lap 2, the gap is now 2.3 seconds, so Dirk really needs to start pushing. He doesn't want to let Smith get too far ahead of him. It becomes a very lonely race, and you don't want to start losing sight of the guy in front, because you start to lose the edge. Smith, though, keeping things nice and clean. He's still pushing. The gap up to 3 seconds now. Smith just seems to be trying to get away. He senses victory, and he's pushing for it. He's clocking up the purple sectors, although on lap 2 I think everybody clocks up purple sectors. It doesn't matter what position you're in. So Smith now just over 3 seconds ahead of Dirk. Dirk's got to start taking the risks later on the brakes, nicking a little bit more of a curb than you normally would. Although this Viper is a right handful, and especially around a track like this. Smith, though, he made a few mistakes on his outlap, didn't he, in his quick lap, but I think that was just a case of get him out of the way, because he's doing everything right so far in this race. Well, Dirk, he's pulled a little bit of time back, but really does need to start throwing caution to the wind now, and pushing a little bit harder. It doesn't matter if you make mistakes when you're in second. You've got to push. You've got to try and claw back some of that time. So Smith with the fastest lap, a 1:54.4. What did Dirk do? A 1:54.5. So he's only 5 tenths off of Smith. Well, I say only. As you know, in racing, that is a massive gap. So 2.5 seconds the gap between the two of them. Smith keeping it nice and tidy. Started in pole position, got to the first corner in front, and he stayed there. He's not looked back at all, has he? And looking very comfortable. Dirk still there in the distance. He's still within touching distance. He really does need to start pushing though. Does Dirk maybe taking a few extra risks? You've seen him kicking up a little bit of dirt there as he got onto the grass, but I think that's what he needs to do. He needs to find a bit of extra time, pushing all the way as he's taking some of that grass out. But as I say, I can't blame him. This is what he needs to do. The time now up to 3.5 seconds. Smith just keeping it nice and simple. He's staying on the track. he doesn't have to do anything silly apart from keep that car going in the right direction. It is Dirk that's got to take the risks, and he is, and unfortunately you can see by the time, oh, and on the grass and a bit of a scrape with the barrier as well, and that's what happens when you push, but you can't blame him for that. He is giving it everything. I mean, he's putting in some decent laps. His last lap was a 154. This one, I've got a feeling it might be a little bit slower, I'm not sure, let's have a look. Yeah, 156, those couple of mistakes he made, but as I said, that's what he's got to do. The gap now up to 5 seconds as we start lap 4. Smith looking very comfortable. Another fast lap from him, a 54.00. So he's still pushing. He can afford to take his time a little bit, but he is still pushing. To be fair, I think the race is Smith's unless he bins it. So as I say, it is his to lose. Dirk has just got to keep going. You never know. The race is not over until they cross that finish line. We have seen mistakes happen on the last lap before in previous races, and I think that's what Dirk's kind of hoping for now. He's hoping that Smith just gets a little bit too cocky, makes a mistake and puts it into a barrier somewhere. But Smith looking comfortable, looking relaxed. He looks like he's enjoying himself out there actually. So around turn 11, nice and easy for Smith. Let's see if Dirk can get round there. Vodka Rob certainly thinks the Viper feels really... I can't see the end of it unfortunately, Rob. It is not the best of cars to drive around this kind of track. To me it feels very heavy. It feels like the back end always wants to come round and fight you. But we are on lap 5 of 5. Smith out in front. He is leading by nearly 6 seconds. Just needs to coast that car home. Dirk praying that Smith makes a mistake. A couple of tiny errors from Dirk has cost him. And as I think it was Rob said earlier, it's the slightest mistake makes all the difference. So Smith, yeah, it was Vodka Rob that said it is the slightest mistake, and the race is over for you, especially when you get to this level. So Smith taking his time, nice and easy now. He's just got to bring that car home. Dirk, well, he gave it his best, didn't he? He pushed and pushed. But the trouble is, when you start pushing that much, that's when the mistakes start to creep in. And unfortunately, that's what's cost him. A couple of slight mistakes, a couple of areas where he's got himself onto the grass. A little scrape with the barrier earlier, just after turn 12, and that's what's cost him. Excuse me, as Smith goes around turn 11, he's looking at turn 12 and up the hill. He goes for the last time under the brick. Looks inflatable, doesn't it, those little arches. As Smith takes us through the final few turns, through turn 17, he can see the checkered flag waving. Well done to Smith, fantastic race from him, across the line in spectacular fashion. Dirk in second, a good effort from him. It just wasn't quite good enough on the night, and Smith victorious. Well, that was the final race of the card. I don't think there's going to be any more. Apologies for the glitch we had earlier. I really don't know what happened. I'm sure Osman pressed the wrong Agent Smith strikes again. Yeah, I'm sure Osman pressed the wrong button. It's all his fault. I'm blaming him entirely. thanks very much for watching, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed this racing. If you have, give us a like, subscribe if you haven't already, share the hell out of these videos. Let's get URL out there in YouTube land. And well, we'll be back next week for some more fantastic racing in the 1v1s for round 5, and it's really going to start getting serious from then onwards. So yeah, thanks for watching. I shall catch you all later. Yeah, cheers Rob, thank you very much for joining us, and as I say, I shall catch you all next week.